Hello, I'm Death's Arrow, and welcome to What I'm Thinking Match of the Week for the week of April 14th, 2013. The replay that we'll be looking at is from April 18th, 2013 on Murovanka in my Centurion Mk. As noted on the loading screen, this is a standard battle. Reviewing tank composition for this battle reveals the following. This is a Tier 10 battle with 5 Tier 10s on each team. My team has 2 Tier 9s while the enemy team has 4. My team has 4 Tier 8s while the enemy team has 1. Both teams have a single Tier 7 light tank. Both teams also have 3 arty pieces. My team has a Tier 7, a Tier 6, and a Tier 4, while the enemy team has a Tier 7 and 2 Tier 6s. I recognize a couple of players on the enemy team, both in the Forge platoon. I tangled with them a couple of weeks back, and they are definitely high-end players. The enemy team has a huge advantage with this platoon. While I've yet to feature the Centurion Mk. In the main series, the tank is very similar to the Carnarvon, which I featured in a match of the week a few weeks ago. The tank mounts the 20-pounder A-barrel, has good gun depression, and good frontal turret armor. Mobility is better than the Carnarvon at the expense of hull armor, although the tank is capped at approximately 40 kph. The tank has excellent view range at 400 meters, and I've enhanced that by mounting coated optics. As the match gets underway, I've made a decision to head down the K-line. My goal is to get to the small hill at H8 so I can put eyes on the southern end of the magical forest. I'll play things by ear after that, as it's going to be critical that I keep an eye on the enemy Forge platoon. I don't expect to be spotted right off the bat. The magical forest does work both ways. It will protect tanks on the outside as well as the inside. Plus I'm taking a long line along the end line of the map. While the tank is capped at 40 kilometers per hour, it does have good acceleration and mobility. I reached my position of choice as part of the Forge platoon is spotted in the northwest portion of the map. I haven't spotted any enemies yet in the forest. I don't have 6th sense on this tank, so I don't know if I've been spotted. I'll have to be careful for now. I've got the T-54E1, E-100 Maus, also T-34 and low coming up the rear. I am going to maneuver further up along this little dip next to the lake. Utilize it for hard cover, and I'm going to poke up behind this bush to spot from. Enemy T-71 spotted in the north. Our Maus and E-100 are pushing up on the southern end of the forest, and they spot a AMX 5120. Missed my shot. I back off down the slope. Go to line them up again. And they knock them down before I can reload. You can see on the overhead view that the Foch 155 has started to turn back towards base. Our Tier 10 heavies have decided to push into the forest. While this probably isn't a smart move, I'll take advantage of their spotting to get my shots in. The E-75 is behind that shed up there. Get hit on him. I could see the front sprocket of the E-100, but it's unlikely I would have done more than track him. Line up the E-75 again and get a hit. You can see the damage on this gun is anywhere between about 180 and it does get up to about 250, 270 I believe, although it tends to roll low in general. Take a shot at the E-100 and bounce. Trying to get a flank on that E-75, and he drops behind the shed again before I can fire. I could technically knock the shed down, not much reason to. Already knocks down the E-100. Trying to line up the E-75 again. I begin to press forwards to get further up into the woods. Take a shot at the E-75, and I miss, and our T-34 knocks him down. IS-4 of the Forge platoon is pushed back into the northern end of the woods. Got a shot at Artie. Wait for the Batchat to clear and get a hit. And the E-100 knocks him down. Lining up the T-34 now. Waiting for my reload. It becomes clear as our Maus goes down that the Forge platoon has come back to this flank. Something that you need to remember when you face better players is that they will react to what's going on in a match. Try to snap a shot at the Lorraine and I miss. Still running regular rounds. Take a flank shot at the IS-4 and I bounce. Switch to premium rounds. Bounce again off the IS-4. T-71's trying to circle the E-100. Get a hit on the rear. He does knock down our E-100 though. Missed my shot there. With our force push defeated, I begin to withdraw. I don't want to be on the front line, and the enemy has a hardware advantage on this flank. Switch back to AP rounds. Currently down by 1 tank. No enemies spotted. Gonna resume my former position. I have no shot at the IS-7. He is behind the mound there. And in town, so there's likely buildings in the way as well. Bat Chat also spotted on the western flank. And the Bat Chat knocks down our AMX 1375. T-54A1 is trying to move into the forest and spot. He lights up the IS-4. Line him up. Get a damaging hit on his flank. The IS-7 knocks down the T-54A1. Bounce off the IS-4, he disappears. And the T-34 knocks him down with a blind shot. Enemy Bat Chat is pressing in on the E-4, he knocks him down. E-50 now pressing in on the western flank. There is the Foch 155, I line him up, and I get a hit. I switch to premium rounds. Back down the slope and pop back up. He's really not paying attention to me. Get another hit there on his flank. Still don't believe he's aimed at me. He disappears. Take a blind shot, then back down the slope again. I likely was spotted in the exchange, but the Foch didn't fire on me. Got an E-50 and an M46 Patton on the western flank, which is being covered by our E-4 and M48. It's myself, Low, and T-34 over here on this flank. The Low has moved behind me as the enemy T-34 has come up. I was a little concerned at the time that the Low would have spotted behind me and I would have taken fire. Get another hit on the T-34. He disappears. I'm not so sure this is a great position for the Low. It does not have a good camo value. E-4 is currently engaging the IS-7. Enemy has a 1 tank lead right now. E-4 has done quite an admirable job over there on the western flank holding the enemy up. He does have help from the M48 though. E-50's charging in on the M48. And the E-4 knocks him down. Right now we're tied with the enemy. 5 tanks left each. M46 Patton spotted. Not pushing the forest at all right now. The enemy definitely has a hardware advantage with that Foch 155 in the woods and a T-34 somewhere over there. M48 Patton is moving north. This flank has become a stalemate, and I'm concerned with the status of the western flank, so I withdraw from my position and maneuver to assist on the other flank. I'm going to move around and try to support the other flank. My concern is well placed as I see that our E-4 has less than 25% health left. There's the M46 Patton. Spot the T-34 and try to line him up. but our low knocks him down, and then the Foch 155 knocks down our low. Enemy IS-7 has knocked down our M48 Patton. This definitely was the right call, as the E4 now is alone. While I am taking shots in the open from this position, I am 458 meters from the Patton and remain undetected. I'm back on premium rounds, by the way. Line up again, get a hit. Spot the Foch and try to line him up. Get a hit on his flank, he's down to 31 hit points. Trying to line up the kill shot. But I bounce. He backs up and disappears. I continue to head west. Still have the enemy IS-7 on this flank. In the interim, the E4 knocked down the M46 Patton. I'm going to keep maneuvering towards the north and west. Try to catch the IS-7 unaware. Sticking with premium rounds here. Want to make sure that when I spot the IS-7, I get a kill shot right off the bat. Line him up, get a hit and knock him down. After finishing off the IS-7, my next move is to try to close in on the Foch 155 without being spotted. Based on my last sighting, he's down to 31 hit points and is likely camping hard in the forest. The Lorraine 155-50 was last spotted at A0 and is very likely still there. My plan is to head north, then west, and creep up along the A-line. My heart's beating pretty hard at this point in the battle. I have a chance to beat a very good Forge platoon here on a team that didn't appear to have much of a chance right out of the gate. As I get to A5, I notice that the E4 is following me. I slow up to allow him to get into an overwatch position. No enemies spotted. Not sure where the Foch 155 is. He was on the southern end of the forest last time I spotted him, which would give me a clear run at Artie. But if he's backed up all the way near Cap, my opportunities will be somewhat limited. The E4 has gotten into position, so I begin to advance again. I've spotted the Foch 155, decide to change to premium rounds. As I move up to the next line of bushes, I spot the Foch 155. I'm able to spot him before he can spot me because part of his tank isn't in cover, while mine is entirely obscured. Long view range plus optics help as well. Line him up, knock down the Foch 155. Gonna advance in and finish off Artie. I switch back to AP rounds. Can't really see the chat, but someone is complaining about Invisi tanks. As the E4 knocks down the Lorraine 155-50 for the win. Looking at the after action screens, I destroyed 2 tanks, damaged 6 more for a Confederate, hit 24 of 28 shots, did 3,268 points of damage, and earned 1,471 experience before the double and XP event award. I also earned a Leva Shallows medal for destroying 2 tanks 2 tiers above my tank. Overall, this is the type of match that a lot of players dread. A platoon of high-end players on the enemy's team that will likely dominate the match. Rather than get intimidated, take these battles for what they really are, a challenge. I knew that I needed to keep a close eye on that platoon, and I tailored my play to counter them. I initially covered the southern flank, providing second-line fire to our Tier 10s that made a somewhat foolish decision to push the forest. While we did lose our Tier 10 heavies in the process, this drew part of the Forge platoon back from the western flank to cover base. Once the forest push was defeated, I quickly withdrew from the woods, falling back to a sniping position near the lake. The enemies pushed the southern end of the forest to try and spot my team, which allowed us to whittle them down. Once the flank became a stalemate, I pulled out to assist the western flank, which had been taking a beating. Our E4 had done an admirable job holding off the enemy, but was getting low on health. I provided the support needed to finish off the enemy tanks on that flank. At this point, I made the call to flank around to the northern end of the map, which allowed me to spot and knock down the Foch 155, finishing off the vaunted Forge platoon. Optics became incredibly important here, as the Centurion Mk and Foch 155 have the same view range. I had an additional advantage of soft cover while part of the 155 was exposed. Thank you for watching this What I'm Thinking Match of the Week. Stay tuned for more content soon.